Yes, sir. Time to rock and roll. Coming to you live, baby, from Hialeah Park. We're at the Champions Simulcast Center. And we are going to talk now to Aaron Fentress. He covers the Ducks for The Athletic. You can follow him on Twitter at Aaron J. Fentress. And covering Justin Herbert. And obviously we are focused in on the quarterbacks coming into the draft with the Miami Dolphins picking in the top 5 right now. And obviously we want to go around college football, and we've focused in on Tua. We gave you one on Burrow. We did it with Jake Fromm, and now Aaron's going to be kind enough to join us now to talk a little bit about the guy he covers every day in Justin Herbert, a guy that a lot of people have been talking about. So we'll get Aaron's thoughts on it. We ready to go? Aaron, are you there, my man?
I'm here.
All right, it's a beautiful thing, Aaron. Welcome aboard, my friend. First
Thanks.
of all, you've been covering Justin Herbert. Give us, if you had to describe him as a quarterback for your, what's your favorite NFL team?
Bears.
The Bears. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so
We're looking for a quarterback for 40 years.
Exactly. Your Bears suck at quarterback. We know that. My producer here, Bill, that you just talked to, he's a huge Bears fan.
McMahon, 1 year, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. And so, he was a badass, by the way. He doesn't get enough
He was a
credit.
bad. He just couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah, Martin ruined his career when he slammed him into the ground. That was the end of his
Russ were 86 Super Bowl
Don't remind
champs.
me.
Yeah, that dude was
Don't remind me.
Let me tell you, man, that guy was a hell of a quarterback. He doesn't get enough credit for being a badass that he was. But anyway, So your Bears need a quarterback. Is Justin Herbert the guy you would want leading your team at the NFL level?
I would definitely have no problem with them drafting Justin Herbert. I mean, I think there's some, I wouldn't say deep concerns, but I don't think he's a can't-miss prospect. There's some things about his game that have not troubled me, but caused me to pause a little bit. He hasn't developed as much as I thought he would. I jumped on the Herbert train his true freshman year during his second start at Cal when he threw 6 touchdowns and almost led them to victory. I was all over Twitter and writing at the time that, this guy's going to be a first-round pick. And some people thought I was jumping the gun. I was like, nah, he's got it all. And he still has it all, and he's developed and gotten better, but he hasn't gotten to the point where I thought he was going to be, and that was going to be a Heisman candidate. He was going to put up 40-plus touchdown passes with like under 10 interceptions and 4,000 yards and be able to carry a team. He has not proven to be that guy, but when you just look at him, he's the kind of QB you would make in a lab. He's 6'5", he's 230, he can move even though he's not an elite runner. He's got a strong arm. He can really swing it. He can make all the throws. He's super smart. Like, he's going to laugh at the Wonderlic text. He's probably going to look around and be like, really? This is the best you guys can give me? So, yes, I would take him, but I'm not guaranteeing that he's going to be a superstar quarterback.
So you're telling me he's got the Kirk Cousins gene? Is that what you're saying?
Meaning what?
Meaning there's no dog in him, that he doesn't come up, because that's my follow-up to you is I can't sit there and think of signature moments for this guy where he went out there and, like you said, balled and carried a team and was down and had to beat a really good team on the road or a good defense. And, his career doesn't have any of that. And so I wonder what happens when you put him in those kind of moments. We don't know because he's kind of untested. And that whole thing about a lab, man, Jeff George was built in a lab, and so was Jamarcus Russell. And now those guys are kind of like knuckleheads and flakes, so that's a whole different ballgame. This guy isn't a knucklehead. He isn't a flake. But we all wonder, is there dog in the guy? And that's what I would ask you since you're around him all the time.
Absolute 100% legitimate question. I don't believe we've seen that. And his temperament and mentality is one that there were concerns about him early on as a youngster because he was really emotionally fragile. He would crumble. When he made a bad play, it would get to him, and he would just crumble emotionally. And coaches would talk about it, like, after the comments with coaches on the Helfer staff, coaches on the Taggart staff, that he needs to grow up. He needs to mature. Now, he's done that. He's a completely different kid now than he was his freshman, sophomore year. he was kind of thrown into the fire as a true freshman. He came out as a 3-star recruit. He was a pretty unheralded kid, and all of a sudden he's asked to start on this super young, battered, beat-up team that ends up going 4-8. But he was asked to do a lot. He's overcome that, and he's matured. But no, I've never seen that dog in him. And you know, there were times last year, especially when the run game went to hell, and he could not elevate. Now, some people said, well, he didn't have the receivers, and there were some drop passes. And yeah, there were some drop passes, but there were also moments where he just didn't make the play. And you expect, a superstar quarterback to make those plays. And this year, same thing. It's probably his best moment was the UW game when he helped engineer that comeback in the fourth quarter. But but two of the touchdowns were screen passes, and one was a flat route. You know, so again, it wasn't like he was slinging the ball all over the place and making all these huge plays. They had a really good second half of that game running the football, and he supplemented that well, and he didn't make mistakes, and he did make some key throws, but it wasn't necessarily a signature moment. Then you look at the Arizona State game. You know, they're trailing. They're down 7-0 in the third quarter at Arizona State. Like, what the hell is going on? How is that even possible with that offensive line and with a future first-round pick quarterback? And it was a combination of a lot of different things. That people were making mistakes throughout the offense, but he as well. He had some bad throws, some overthrows, like he was doing throws. And then in the start of the fourth quarter, he throws those 2 interceptions, which were back-to-back possessions, which were just unbelievable interceptions. They're like, what are you doing, Justin Herbert interceptions? He doesn't throw a lot, but in that moment he did. But then after that, he did bounce back and almost led them to the victory. But here's the thing. There have been a lot of quarterbacks who've been great in the NFL who everyone had question marks too. Like, you're 100% right. The prototypical quarterback doesn't always succeed, but the guy that everyone goes, I don't know if he has it, he ends up being Joe Montana and Tom Brady, right? So it kind of goes both ways. I do think mentally he can still mature and grow. It'll be interesting to see. But from a physical standpoint, if you have good coaches who can develop him, he's a guy that's going to be really hard to pass up on.
Yeah, and you kind of answered my follow-up question to it in a way, but be a little bit more direct here, because is it more about that he hasn't had those opportunities to be dogs, or is it more about that those opportunities have been there sometimes, but he just hasn't come through?
Oh, no, he's had them. I mean, clearly, yeah, definitely he's had them. They went, like last year, they came out of the UW win, and they looked like, wow, okay, they just beat Washington. They have a chance to win the Pac-12, even though they had blown the Stanford game a few weeks earlier because of a fumble late by C.J. Verdell. And then they went to Washington State. And Washington State, never known for their defense, just shut them down. And he was unable to elevate the team and make plays to win that game. And I have these same criticisms about Mariota going into his final season, because they had both raced so many teams in 2012, 2013, that he didn't really have many opportunities to really carry the team when needed. And when he did, like 2 times they lost to Stanford in both years, that cost them a chance at a national championship game, he was unable to elevate the team. And then in his final year, he did have some games where he did that. Herbert really hasn't had a ton of opportunities this year, but he did at Arizona State. And I'm even concerned about the Oregon State game. They scored, it still baffles me. They scored two offensive touchdowns in that game, and one came with a minute and a half to go on a running play. Like, that's against Oregon State, and he can't light up Oregon State. If you take away his non-conference opponents, Nevada, Montana this year, Bowling Green, San Jose State, and Florida State last year, you would eliminate about 22 touchdown passes of the 50 or so he's thrown in the last 2 years, 55 or 60, something like that. That's a lot of production that's been built up against weak competition. So I do have that concern about him, but it doesn't mean he can't be that guy down the road. It's just right now he hasn't shown that he is that dog when it's time for a dog fight.
Yeah, and so you'd be even nervous yourself if the Bears drafted him. You wouldn't be convinced. And dude, in that town, if you don't come through, they're going to eat you up alive in that place. So, but it sounds to me that even as a Bears fan, you'll want him there, but you won't be necessarily like if I tell you Joe Burrow or Herbert, who you taking?
I'm taking Burrow.
All right. If I tell you Tua and Herbert, who you taking?
I'm not a big Tua guy. Like, maybe I'm missing something with Tua. I'm not a big Tua NFL guy, so I'd probably go Herbert.
Wow. Okay. Now, is it because of the injuries? Because that's what's turned me off about him, because I think he's too fragile for the NFL now.
The injuries, I just feel like I haven't. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not being fair to him. I just don't. When I watch him play, it doesn't scream NFL quarterback to me. I could be totally wrong. I'm not even going to say I've spent a lot of time diving into his video. I just haven't been a Tua can't miss NFL guy. But here's the thing: everyone knows this. I mean, in the NFL, it's going to come down to the neck up. They all have physical ability, and even some guys without great physical ability have been really good quarterbacks because of what they can do from the neck up. Bears fans know, like Trubisky. I mean, Trubisky and Jay Cutler, the two most gifted quarterbacks probably the Bears have ever had. But from the neck up, they couldn't get out of their own way. Even Rex Grossman had a cannon neck up. He refused to hit the check down. So, but Herbert at least is going to be smart. Like, I don't think Herbert's going to come to the NFL and be that guy where you're going, oh my God, what the hell is he doing? The question is, can he elevate his game to make the killer plays? I don't think he's going to make the plays to destroy you like Trubisky does and Cutler did. But is he going to make the play to elevate you? That's the question. But I would roll the dice on him.
All right, so what's a fair a pick for him? What do you think? Because he's not Burrow, so you're not taking him number one overall. What number in the first round do you think you say, okay, that's it's where he should go?
Yeah, and of course that always changes based on who has the need in certain spots. But I sort of see him as a middle first round guy.
Okay. All right.
Like I think I think if a team takes him in the top 10, you probably think, sort of like Daniel Jones, like why didn't they trade back? They probably could have gotten him later. But I would be, if I'm sitting in the teens and he's still there and I need a quarterback, oh my God, I'm like, thank you, Lord, and I take him because he, from a physical and talent standpoint, he is 100% legit. That doesn't mean though he's going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. We all know that's a tough road,
No doubt. Aaron Fentress, by the way, from The Athletic, joining us. He covers the Ducks for The Athletic. You can follow him on Twitter at Aaron J. Fentress. How is he as a leader in the locker room, those kind of things? Because if you don't have a lot of those signature moments, I don't know how much guys gravitate to you and believe in you like you're the guy that's going to give us the hope. How is he like that?
One of the reasons why he stayed, besides academics and besides he loves Oregon, is because he needed another year to mature in that area. He definitely has come a long way. I mean, like, had he come out last year, I think he would have completely drowned in that atmosphere. People were looking to him to lead. If grown men, were looking to him to lead, I don't think he would have been able to handle it at all. He's definitely a different person now than he was last year, so he's maturing towards that. He probably still is a couple years out from actually being a guy who's going to be completely 100% confident to lead a locker room at the NFL level. He's a pretty quiet, unassuming guy, which was one of the criticisms about Mariota as well. So that's going to be interesting to see how that develops. I think that if he's struggling as a player, but he's not performing and not making plays, I think it's going to be really difficult for him to be able to convince himself that he's got the moxie or the credibility to be a leader when he's not performing. Because at Oregon, he's had moments when he's not performing well. He kind of backslides a little bit. But as I said, a lot of that has been cleaned up. So that was a problem. It's not necessarily a problem, but now you're talking about a huge leap into a completely different world.
Okay.
You go from being the fourth-year senior on an Oregon team to being a rookie in an NFL locker room. That's just a completely different animal, and it's going to be interesting to see how he adapts to that environment.
You kind of had talked a little bit about this question I wanted to follow up with. You're kind of dancing around it. So you've mentioned and you've mentioned maturity twice in this interview. You talked the first time about in the freshman year how he couldn't handle the adversity and that kind of stuff, and he didn't have good reactions to it, and he had to mature. And then, obviously, after his junior year, he kind of needed to come back for his senior year because he still had some maturity overall to do. So this is what I ask you, my brother, because we watch Kirk Cousins go through it. We watch Ryan Tannehill here in Miami go through it, or the kid in New York that's seeing ghosts or all that stuff. How's he going to handle struggling in the NFL, making mistakes in the NFL? He's not going to have the amount of media coverage he's going to have now coming up compared to what he has in Oregon dwarfs what he has felt. And national people are going to be talking about how bad you are, like they do with Trubisky, who had to turn the TVs off in the locker room, which was kind of weak on his part too. How do you think, you've been around the kid, dude, NFL adversity is going to hit him right in the face because it's normal for every young quarterback. So how do you think he handles that, my man? Because maturity has been an issue.
Yeah, I think he's a work in progress, and I have great reservations about how he handles that early on.
Oh.
I'm not going to say he's never going to, be able to handle it, but if you were asking me to bet money on how he handles that within the first couple of years of being in the NFL, if he's truly struggling, I would say not well.
You've convinced me. I didn't want him in the first place. Now you've convinced me I definitely don't want him in a Dolphins uniform.
Well, don't pin that on me, man. Come on.
No. Wait a minute. I wasn't a Herbert fan from the get-go, my man. I was not. I have not seen enough of those signature moments. I haven't seen enough dog in him to like him. But and the maturity stuff I heard about, and then listening to you now, I worry about him at the next level, man, because the NFL is. You know how it is, my brother. You know how it is, Aaron.
I agree.
It's a brutal. Hell, you follow the Bears. Please, come on. 50 years of killing quarterbacks. Come on.
I know. There's just been so many games where I'm like, okay, Justin, let's see it. And it just isn't there. It's like he just does not move the needle in that regard. He's good. He's got all the tools in the toolbox, but you're 100% right. He's not demonstrated that dog. He's not demonstrated that, walk me to the sideline, say, just get on my back, let's go. I'm going to make the play. He just hasn't done it, period. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And we'll see what happens against Wisconsin. That's going to be another tough game. Even the Utah game, he had some nice throws in the Utah game, and he ran some zone where he kept the ball for the first time all season. He barely kept the ball. They opened things up and let him do it more. He demonstrated he could, especially on that opening drive. But he was like just over 50%. Like, if it wasn't for the run game, when they rushed for 280 yards, they probably they don't win that well. They probably still win because the defense held them in it. But he didn't carry the team. He didn't make it happen. The run game did. So that's another example. So yeah, I absolutely believe there are some concerns. But at the same time, you don't know when the maturity switch is going to be flipped. You hope he has good coaching. You hope he has good protection. You hope they have a good running game around him to take pressure off of him and let him grow and develop. If that happens, you have a chance to get big on the kid. If he's thrown to the wolves and gets battered around and losing and struggling, then you could have trouble.
Wow. That's good stuff there. Aaron Fentress joining us from the Athletic.
You're scratching them off your list right now, right?
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't a big fan from the kid and for the kid from the get-go. So you're just kind of convincing me. So let me ask you something. Speaking of convincing,
did Miami secure number one? Or you guys number two now?
No, 5. They're at 5 now. They're at 5.
Oh, that's right, because y'all been winning games accidentally the last few weeks.
No, they got. I think they found the coach, dude. I think they got a real coach.
You think so? They got a real coach now?
I think that actually one of the guys that fell from the Belichick tree was not rotten. It's pretty amazing. I think they actually got one of the few good ones because I think him and Vrabel look like the only two that might be, half decent to come out of it. And he has done an awesome job this year, man, with a whole bunch of guys that probably aren't even going to be in the NFL next year. It's been really impressive for him. Now let me ask you something.
Sure.
Herbert hasn't convinced, but I would imagine that Mario Cristobal is convincing folks there in Oregon. How's the love affair with our boy Mario over there?
Oh, they are loving them some Mario. It's been such a wild and crazy 3 years to even get to this point. Never in a million years would they have hired Mario Cristobal when they were doing their coaching search. They hired Taggart. Cristobal comes with him. Taggart leaves Florida State. They end up keeping Cristobal mainly to keep continuity and recruiting. And plus, I think they realized they weren't going to really go out and get someone necessarily better because they failed to get a marquee coach the first time around. And he's done well. He's done well in recruiting. He's done well in leading this team to the conference title. I will say this, though. Oregon fans hate it when I say this because I think sometimes people forget it. This wasn't his team. He didn't build this team. Most of the starters on this team were recruited under Helfrich still and even Taggart. So obviously he's done well recruiting, so we'll see how well he does moving forward with more and more of the guys he's brought in. With a new offensive line, they're going to lose 4 starters. 3 were recruited under Helfrich, and they're going to lose their first-round pick quarterback, again, recruited under Helfrich, and a bunch of guys on defense are, again, recruited under Helfrich. So it'll be interesting to see because it's going to start to be more and more his team and the guys he brought in, even though there's still a lot of Taggart holdovers. But from a coaching standpoint, he's brought a lot of toughness that people like, a lot of discipline that people like.
That's
and he just looks like a coach, right?
Yeah.
He just seems like a coach, right? He looks like a football coach. I'm a former offensive lineman. I'm a big guy. I still work out. And I look like a coach, and I talk like a coach. Here's the thing, though, and I keep telling people this, and they hate it when I say it. As soon as the Miami job comes open, he's outie.
No, man. I don't think so, man. I gotta.
Come on.
No, seriously. I'm telling you, Aaron. I don't think he comes to my. Let me explain. First of all, you have all the resources over there and the Nike money and everything. They don't have all the resources here. It's going to be a challenge for him to put everything together. Plus, he has to build it from scratch because it's basically really not a good program, right? It's a terrible program. It's been a really bad program now for 15 years. And you've got to have the money to pay for an entire staff, something that he has in Oregon over and over again. I hate to say this as a Miami guy, it's kind of stupid for him at this point to leave Oregon and go to Miami because the challenge for you at Miami is almost near impossible to kind of turn this thing around. It's a private school, man. You don't have the same resources that you do in Oregon. And this is what I was going to follow up with you because I've got my East Coast bias about the Pac-12, my brother, okay? I find it to be a finesse conference. I don't find it to be a tough conference. I think Utah brings some toughness. Back in the day, Washington was the tough team back in that conference. But I think your guy, Mario, will bring toughness to Oregon. And that's what I think you were kind of leading into, that I think he's going to make Oregon the probably the most physical team in the Pac-12 in the next couple of years.
That's possible. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Again, I don't feel like I've seen the O-line and D-line recruiting sort of matching what you would get on the East Coast, even under Cristobal. So we'll see how that works out. He took an offensive line that he inherited, and they did well. But the last 2 years were the least productive rushing years Oregon's had in 12 years. So the rushing attack was not even close to what it was, even just 2 years ago, 3 years ago, before Mario. I have reservations about that. And they're running, let's put it this way. In his 2 years as head coach, he's had more games under 100 yards rushing than the previous 9 years combined. And that's with this offensive line. So, it's hard. It's just hard for me to say, oh, yeah, he's just built this hard-nosed rushing. It's like I've seen them get stuffed, absolutely shut down. Now, what they did against Utah, though, that was impressive. Utah, the number one rushing defense in the country, and they absolutely ran all over them. So my question is, where was that against Oregon State? Where is that against Arizona State? Where was that against Auburn? Where was that against Michigan State last year? Where was that against Washington State last year? In his first game ever against Boise State, they scored one offensive touchdown in the first 58 minutes. After, under Taggart with Herbert, they averaged 51 points per game. Cristobal takes over, they can't score against Boise. So there's been some pockets where it's like, I don't know. But now he has to move forward without the first-round quarterback, without those offensive line. He has to rebuild the offensive line, and he better hope one of these quarterbacks he has hit, or he's going to be 6-6. So I'm not saying what you're saying is not possible. I'm saying there's a lot of reservations because, again, this was not his team.
Makes a lot of sense. And let me ask you, Aaron, how was his recruiting class? What was the ranking for Oregon?
This year, finished 18 on 24/7's composite. Last year, they were 7. Year before that, Taggart had the number 1 in the nation, and then after he left, they fell to 18, I believe, again, 16, 18, somewhere in there. He did get 2 5-star linebackers. I think the defense is going to be sick next year. Offensively, again, you're replacing quarterback. You know how it is, quarterback. And, I mean, if Tyler Shuck is just average, they're going to go 8-4. I mean, they just are. You've got to have someone who can make consistent plays, which although Herbert didn't have the dog, he did consistently make plays enough to win. So we'll see how that shakes out. As far as the Miami thing, you made great, fair point. It's just my understanding that he inquired about the Miami job last year when it came open.
Yes.
But Oregon built in a huge buyout for him. I don't think he had done anything to warrant Miami to come after him. I mean, what have he done? He hasn't really done much. I think now he's won a conference. I think he's definitely
whoa, Aaron, have you seen what's going on here? He's done a lot more than they're doing here, my brother. They won 6 games here. They went 6-7 and lost. They got shut out by La Tech yesterday. Trust me.
No.
They would love Mario.
Hold on. I'm talking about last year.
Oh, okay.
Last year when the jobs came open,
I
he
see.
hadn't done much yet.
Right, I see.
To warrant Miami to come after. Now,
okay. Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Sometimes I talk fastly, so maybe I didn't.
My bad.
I went too quickly. Anyway, so now he's won a conference title, and Diaz is struggling. I don't think they're not going to blow out Diaz after 1 year, right?
No, well, no. They don't have that kind of money anyways to do that.
Right.
And plus, this was the AD's call, so he's going to stick with them at least 1 more year. And then next year, if it's another disastrous year, then I think the coach and the AD are the ones that are going to get fired next year. That's what will end up happening. But by that time, Mario's so established over there. That's why I don't think it. I think it's crazy for him at this point to leave.
You could be correct. I mean, you live in Miami. You know, I've actually been a Miami fan since the '80s. I love the Hurricanes, and I keep joking on Twitter. They need to go back and find themselves a Ponzi scheme billionaire and get back on track. So that probably shouldn't do that, really. Anyway, but here's the thing. Okay, Mario is from Miami, played in Miami, coached in Miami. His wife is from there as well. It's my understanding that his wife would much rather return to Florida, that his dream is to go to Miami. It may be a uphill battle. It may have some limitations to it, but it's in Miami, one of the hotbeds of recruiting. If he can recruit to Oregon, which he's been doing well, I can't believe he wouldn't be able to recruit to Miami. And if you can get the dogs, if you can get the players, you have a chance to win. So I would just be shocked if that job came open and they offered it to him, and he said, "No, I'm staying in Eugene." I would be floored. And if that happens, either way, please give me a call back so we can talk about it. One of us can gloat.
We definitely will, man. We definitely will. Hey, Aaron, thank you for taking some time, man. It was an excellent interview. Great insight on Justin Herbert. You probably convinced the Dolphin Nation not to take him. So,
no, that wasn't my goal. No. Don't pin that on me, man.
Just messing with you, brother. Just messing with you. All right, Aaron, good stuff, my brother. Thank you for taking the time, man.
All right, guys, take care.
You got it. There you go. Aaron Fentress, man. Aaron J. Fentress on Twitter. You got to admit, right? You hear that interview, and there is no way you want Justin Herbert. I didn't want Justin Herbert in the first place. After listening to that interview, I'm done, bro. I'm done.
You don't have to see him. You don't have to. You're done. Verdict's in.
I'm done. I don't need it anymore. We're good. We can move on. You know. Ooh, nice. We got Todd Archer at 7:35 on
Can you give us like 1 second, and I'll get Will Carroll for us.
Okay, the injury expert.
Yes, sir.
Let's do this. Let's take a quick break, okay?
Really quick.
Give me 2 minutes, and then we will get Will Carroll, the injury expert, next. All right, welcome back.
This is the Big O Show.
Time to have some fun here with the injury expert. If you're going to invest this weekend, make a little sports investment. You need to know who's in, you need to know who's out, what's going on in football, what's going on in basketball. A lot of big injuries, and nobody better than the injury expert, Will Carroll. Follow him on Twitter, @InjuryExpert. Will, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. Hopefully you had a great holiday as well. And to all the listeners out there, keep increasing every day. Definitely, I hope you had a happy holiday and have a safe New Year. Because it's always at the end of the year where we're sitting here going, "Well, I'll talk to you next year." Ha ha ha!
Right.
You know how it goes.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. So yes, and they are growing, man. It is amazing how much the listenership is growing every single month, and we are blessed to have that. All right. First of all, let's just start off right in your backyard. Oladipo, the Heat and the Pacers are playing tonight. We know there's no Oladipo. When is Oladipo coming back?
That's a really good question. The fact is, nobody really knows except Victor Oladipo. He enjoyed singing a lot, and so he took time off to do that. But that was months ago that they actually filmed that. You could tell by the limp he had. But he's been cleared medically to play for a while. So nobody really knows what they're waiting on. They're playing well, so they can take some time. But that knee, there's so few of these that we can't really tell if that clearance was early, if it was late. what they're worried about still. There is some disagreement between the Pacers medical staff and Victor's medical staff. This is another one of those that was handled outside. Not unusual, but can sometimes cause a little bit of friction. So we'll have to see how this goes. It's a really strange one because neither of them are talking at all.
No, I can imagine. And that's where I heard some report about maybe late January or something like that. But again, it's kind of an unknown.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah, that one seems very arbitrary. Talking to people around the Pacers, it is very literally in my backyard. They were saying All-Star game, but again, those are one of those arbitrary things. Somebody just pulls a date out and says this. They always say around this, and the All-Star game is one of those that it kind of feels like halfway, really isn't. Honestly, I'll tell you right now, nobody knows, including me.
I love it. All right, LeBron. He missed 17 games with the groin injury last year. He's got another one. They say it's not as bad. Is that accurate? What do you hear?
Yeah, it's not as bad, but they are worried about it because there's something I call the Iron Man effect. If you think back to Cal Ripken, he played and played and played and was healthy. And then at the end of his career, when he finally took a day off, man, he started getting injured a lot. Another guy who was like that was Johnny Davis, who had a great career, and then at the end, it just all fell apart. I've talked to a lot of people, and they say, sometimes guys just break down, and it all happens at once. It's a steep cliff. On the other hand, those guys don't learn how to come back from little injuries. They're lucky, they're blessed, good genetics, who knows. But they didn't spend any time in the training room. They didn't spend any time rehabbing, and often they're just physically gifted, so they didn't have that work ethic. They weren't out there keeping themselves in shape. They just happened to be. LeBron's one of those. He does work out a lot, obviously, and he's done it more, so I don't think that's really the issue. But he's been so physically gifted and so healthy that this is unusual for him. The worry here is not that he strained a groin. That happened. It's that it happened again. And so anytime you tear a muscle, it heals itself through scar, and scar is not as strong as muscle fiber. So he's got kind of a little bundle of scar there, and if that tears, it's going to be the same sort of weakness. So you have to try to build around it. You have to make sure your mechanics are good. And also, let's face it, the regular season is nothing. So if he has to take some time off to make sure that's ready, you can say 10 games, 12 games. It really doesn't matter. The Lakers want to be in position. They want to have him healthy for a playoff run. Some random game in January doesn't mean a ton, even though he's always been kind of at the forefront of playing more. It's kind of like that old Willie Mays thing. You don't know who came to see you that day, so you better play every day. I think they'll be very, very conservative with James.
Okay. Let's move on. Kyrie Irving, what's the latest with the shoulder? Apparently that thing's lingering.
Yeah, again, it's so tough to tell with the modern NBA the difference between, so-called load management, which is a buzzword that really doesn't mean what it's supposed to, and on the other hand, is he actually injured? Can he not function as the point guard, outside shooter that he's supposed to be? We just don't know. This should have cleared up if we're on normal timelines, but again, normal timelines don't seem to apply in the NBA anymore. So this is one that maybe it's lingering or maybe they just don't care. This is not a team that's going anywhere. This is a team that's playing out the string and waiting for Kevin Durant to get healthy, and we haven't heard anything about that. And that's, we talked about this, I think, a couple weeks ago. Nobody's talking about Kevin Durant, and he's at a stage that even after that Achilles pop, you should see that in about 6 to 9 months. We should see him playing basketball. Maybe not, in a game, but we haven't, as far as I can tell. Maybe he's got a secret gym somewhere. He probably got an arena in his house, but we haven't heard reports of him actually out there playing, which makes me think they're not going to play him this year, and that was part of the plan. So we'll have to see exactly how this goes. But Irving, I just can't tell because with the NBA, timelines are just completely turned on its head by the absolute irrelevance of the regular season.
All right, Siakam, groin injury. What's the latest there?
Yeah, progressing. And again, we've talked about this in the past with Siakam. He's such an athletic guy that he's got to be able to make those quick lateral moves. And a groin is what does it. When you talk about the adductor, that's the name for it. And adduction is pushing out. If you take your leg and you just kick it out to the side, kind of jumping jack style, that's the muscle that does it. If you can't do that, you can't play. So they've got to be careful with this. And as I said with James, this is something that can recur. So they want to make sure it's healed. They want to make sure that he's able to come back and function without putting that muscle under too much stress.
All right. J.J. Watt. Okay, this is weird, dude. First, he's injury-prone. He tore a pec, and he did it in week 8. How is a guy so injury-prone trying this crazy-ass maneuver? Because it seems to me like he's going to re-tear that. How does that thing really repair in 8 weeks, basically? Come on, Will. This sounds like a crazy story.
It is. And here's the thing you have to keep in mind. This is not a story about some magical healing. I was questioning whether they had done some sort of new surgical technique. We talked about a lot of them over the years. But talking to people, nope, you have the same one that everybody else has. You stitch it back together, and you wait for it to heal. Oh. Well, JJ just doesn't. He's going out there, and he's functional, but it's not healed up. It's stitched. So basically, he's saying, "I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to play and see what happens because I've gone through this rehab. I know it takes about 6 months." So I'll just do it again if I have to, which is kind of crazy. At some point, a doctor or a coach or, if they had a general manager or an owner, somebody should step in and say, "Hey, JJ, not the greatest idea." A lot of people have told me that, JJ does not listen, and he just doesn't care about pain, which goes into the NFL mythology. But, when he hurt his back, he was back working out, days later, and ended up having to have a second surgery. This is very much of that pattern.
Wow. All right. It's weird. All right. Dak is dealing with the shoulder. What's the latest with Prescott?
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. Obviously, they need him. Cooper Rush is not exactly the next great star in the NFL, we don't think. But with a shoulder and a quarterback, it's really tough to protect him. He's going to get knocked down. He's going to fall. He's going to get tackled or sacked. And it's almost impossible not to land on that shoulder and cause more problems. You talk about having a pain-killing injection. You know what? That's not going to help. If you can't feel your arm, you're not going to be out there doing very well. So it's not something that teams like to do for a quarterback. I just don't see how he's going to come back from an AT sprain in the space of a week. But again, the NFL, the mythology, cut off a finger. I think he's going to try. They're certainly going to give him every chance. But great medical staff there in Dallas, and I'm hoping they make the right decision for him long term.
All right, Dalvin Cook. He's looking like a guy that maybe Minnesota should start thinking about releasing at the end of the year. How bad is his shoulder? That poor kid he's a beast, but he can't stay healthy, man. It's a real shame that he's constantly breaking down. How bad is the shoulder?
It's not a shoulder. They initially called it a shoulder, and this is one of those where if I pointed at it, you would go, "Oh, well, yeah." It's kind of like with pectoral tears. Is it the shoulder? Is it the chest? What is it? This is a sternoclavicular. This is the other end for the AC sprain that Prescott has. This is at the other end. This is where your collarbone meets your sternum. You'll remember early in the season, Tyreek Hill had this, where the collarbone actually dislocated inward. Very painful, very dangerous, because there's some very important things like your lungs there. His didn't dislocate, but it stretched, and so it's painful. He just simply can't take a hit. I don't think, he had a knee injury. That's bad. People have knee injuries and come back from it, as he did. This one's just, he got hit and his body broke down. Is he injury prone? Well, depends on your definition. I don't think we should knock a guy whose body didn't take a car crash well. This one, we've seen more and more of these because guys are bigger, stronger, and faster. Once he gets past the pain and function is a tough word because you don't think about what the heck is the function of the sternoclavicular joint. It's basically to hold up your whole body. Can he take a hit? Can that not be at risk of moving inwards and hitting his lungs? Yeah, in a couple weeks. They're going to figure out how to pad it better. I do think he'll be back to the playoffs, which is just a week away. But injury prone is a tough one here because the injuries he's had have both been traumatic. It's not like a recurring thing. It's not like this is going to happen more and more. And a player like Hill, who had actually a worse injury, nobody's talking about him being injury prone.
Zach Ertz, he ribs and back.
Yeah.
And now he's practicing on a limited basis. How in the hell do you play? What do you get shot up or something? What's the deal?
Yeah. There's a couple things. First, he's probably going to take a pain-killing. They're probably going to give him something general rather than shoot him up because you can't really inject a bone. You can inject the nerves around it, like when you're getting a tooth pulled. So he can play if he can deal with pain. It only hurts when he breathes, and it only hurts when he gets hit. So if he can just avoid those two things, which is kind of tough to do in a football game, he can play. Guys play through rib fractures a lot. It's not displaced. He's just going to have to wear better rib protectors, which I don't know why everybody doesn't wear those to begin with, especially in Philadelphia, one of the big companies, Unequal, who makes a Kevlar protector. They're right outside of Philly. So I'm sure he'll be wearing one of those. And these guys, again, the pain mythology in the NFL, play through pain is what they're told to do from the time they're barely old enough to keep that helmet held up straight. So he's going to play.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. All right. What's it called? Julian Edelman, knee and shoulder. What's the latest there?
Yeah, the knee is really the problem. And this is one of those where you have to take a look at what the condition is. A lot of people are reporting this as jumper's knee, which is the patellar tendon. And if you get tendonitis there because you're overusing it, obviously it was named that because, guys jumping around, basketball players, high jumpers back in the day. That's not really what this is. This is a condition called tendinosis, which is where the actual cells start to change. They've been so inflamed for so long that it's basically, this is the body's defense stopping. The body inflames to try to heal itself. If that doesn't work, it just dies. And that's what happens, is eventually he's going to lose that tendon. Sometimes you have to go in there and cut out pieces of it to try to save the rest of it. Somewhere down the line, Julian Edelman's going to have a knee replacement. And a lot of NFL players are going to have knee replacements. So now he's just going to have to deal with the pain. Eventually, they're going to fix it. The problem is he going to be able to play football very long? Maybe a couple more years, maybe.
Well, but he still has all those models, so that's, that'll keep him busy after football, so there's nothing wrong with that. Michael Thomas, if people are wondering why Antonio Brown is getting a workout from the Saints, they are desperate because Michael Thomas is dealing with a hand injury. How serious is this hand injury?
Yeah, that's the interesting one. I mean, there's a ton of weirdness around this one. They bring in Antonio Brown, who's obviously got all sorts of issues. This actually came out because he went on one of the Christmas charities. I think he was at a hospital, puts it on Instagram, and he's got a big cast on his hand. So the Saints haven't given any information about what it actually is. Looking at the cast, it looked like they were bracing his thumb. And they put basically just a wrap over it so that people didn't say, oh, look at this air cast that he's got there. And we would know more specifics about it because there's certain braces and splints for certain conditions. So this looks like a thumb injury. We don't know much more about it. Obviously, if you don't have a thumb that's functional, you can't go out there and catch like Michael Thomas does. The Saints are in position where they could rest him if they needed to. So this one, I just don't know what we're going to get out of them. Therefore, if you're betting the Saints and the points, I would take the under. Thomas is so important to them and to Breeze, and Breeze is dealing with some injuries as well. I got to think that the Saints are going to rest a lot of people here in Week 17, so I would be going under on a lot of things, especially with the uncertainty.
There you go. And, of course, you can follow him on Twitter at Injury Expert. He is Will Carroll. You can catch him every week at this time right here on the program. Will, as always, you're a stud, my brother. Thank you for taking some time.
Thanks a lot.
You're the best. There you go. Will Carroll, baby. Enjoying the holidays and giving you all of the injury info, which is a beautiful thing. All right, we are going to, Steve Calabro, the casino manager, is going to join us in a few minutes. But before we do that, it is time to give you my picks of the night here on Friday. Yesterday, unfortunately, we did not have a good day in the NBA. We went 1-3. Technically, we went 3-3 because I told you to take La Tech in the points, and I also told you to bet the money line because I told you La Tech would win the game. Okay? So those were two bets there, but they don't count. Okay? So I went 1-3 yesterday. We are now 18-10 on the season. Still an impressive number. Overall, 8 games over 500 is pretty damn good. Here are my picks in the NBA slate tonight. And tomorrow you can catch the podcast because I will have another selection of games. And then on Sunday also I will put out a selection of games, a small podcast, along, of course, with the final post-game podcast of the Miami Dolphins. All right, let's go with our first picks here in the NBA tonight. 76ers are taking on the Magic. The 76ers are favored by 2.5. The over and under is 209.5, right? Am I correct here? Let me get the latest to make sure. It is, it's actually 3.5 now. My bad. 3.5 it went up to 208.5 now, actually. Okay, so here's how we're going to do it. I'm not going to change. I'm going to go Sixers minus 3.5. I like them still with 3.5. I had it at 2.5, but I'll take 3.5. And I like the over anyways. So at 208.5, I'm going with the over, 208.5. They will go over. So those are two bets there. 76ers minus 3.5 and the over 208.5. Bucks are favored by 11 against the Hawks. And no, it's actually 8. Look at that. So it's 8. I will take the Bucks at 8, minus 8 against the Hawks. Take the Bucks every day of the week and twice on Sundays. The Hawks are absolutely terrible. Pacers, the over and under is 211.5 with the Heat. The Heat are favored by 4. I'm not going to lay the 4. The Pacers are going to be tough, but I will go over 211.5. I think they'll score enough points here, and there's enough shooters on the court. We're going to have 220 points. Go over to 11.5, Pacers and Heat. Suns and Warriors. The over and under is 224. I'm going to go with the over here. Both teams are not playing defense. Both teams actually can score some points. And because we're going to see a very free and open game up and down the court, not that we're really going to watch this game because a lot of people will not watch Suns and Warriors. I will be one of the few losers actually watching Suns and Warriors that isn't a Suns or Warriors fan. And I'm going with the over 224 there. So those are my 5 bets in the NBA tonight. 76ers minus 3.5 against the Magic. The over 208.5, 76ers and Magic. Bucks minus 8. Pacers and Heat over 211.5. And Suns and Warriors over 224. Those are my selections in the NBA. You like any of those?
I was busy over there, sir. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Just want to make sure.
And you know where I'm at with basketball.
Yeah. When are we going to have sports betting here at Hialeah Park? So I could just, make these picks and just walk over to the window and just
Once the people in Central and North Florida
Figure it out.
get their hat out of their rear end,
Okay. You sure?
I don't think it's going to happen
promise?
anytime soon.
You promise?
Well, it sounds good. It sounds good. We can wish, we can hope, but from what I understand, talking to my folks, they've been doing this since the '60s, man. So.
All right, so let's do this. It's hour number 2 is done. Really, hour number 4.
They say it's in the water up there.
It's really our 4th hour is done. We go to hour number 5, but no, hour number 3 here at Hialeah Park at the Champions Simulcast Center. We're gonna make our parlay selections coming up in the NFL. We got the NFL slate this week. We will make those picks, and did we get the Dolphin president yet? Are we doing that today? Did you get the late? I didn't get one. Did you?
I didn't get one either.
Okay, we got to
maybe because of the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
NorCal is off.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, maybe this time we're off. So we'll after Steve, we'll probably wrap it up here on the show. So
or we could talk about how your horses have run around the track.
Yes. I got 7 in this one.
You got 7.
Yes, I have 7
4,
in this
7.
one. It's at Twin Spires.
Is there a race with 15 horses? You're going to take 13. Your lucky number, and then 7 and 13 or 7 and 11. I'm sorry, 11.
Yes.
My bad.
You're bad, and I'm bad right now because my
the lucky 13. I mean,
horse
people
is
look at it that way.
Nowhere in sight right now, dude.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. It could be one of those come from behind.
Let me see who's in second there.
What?
One is in third.
I don't know which track is that. Is that Tampa?
No, Tampa's here. That Tampa Downs. This
Okay.
one. This is
Twinspires.com. I don't.
Oh damn it! The name will come up now.
Hold on.
But it's number 9.
Oh,
no,
that's
this
is that Saratoga?
No, it's not Saratoga. I forgot which one.
Because they lack the little number thing that you were talking about last week.
Oh,
the placement.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah.
You're just
Yeah,
clueless.
like right now, we don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And it's a muddy track,
At
too.
that, so there's mud all over all the numbers. So.
Damn it, bro. If I would have known I had mud, I would have picked another horse. Whichever one's going to win.
There is an old saying in horse racing. If there is a gray horse in the race, you put money on it to at least show.
That's a hell of a race, dude. These two have been like neck and neck all the way. Look at this.
Watch out.
3 came all the way from behind to get third place, but close third.
Did you win? Did you notice the numbers?
I didn't win. I think it's 8-1. 8 did win. 24 was in second place. Is that what that is? 24? The number was 20. No, it can't be.
No, it's not 24.
No, it's not 24. What the hell is that? What number is that? I can't tell from here. I can't tell. I don't know. 8 did win. I know I didn't win. 8 won. So I don't know who came in second.
Is it 2? No. That's the place. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. Look at the numbers on that. You see that?
Yeah.
Show paid $148. Is that right?
4 came in second place. That's what it was. 8 came in first. 4 came in second. 6 came in third. That's what it was. So I picked my favorite came in twice in second. So there you go. How about that? But 7 was like nowhere to be found.
Well, you got to get off that win, man.
I think my horse like stayed inside the railing, inside the little thing where they open up and they let out the horse. What's that thing called?
Oh, in the gate?
In the gate, yeah.
He didn't get out of the gate?
Yeah, I don't think mine ever left a gate. I think that's what happened there. All right, let's do this. Let's wrap up hour number 2. Hour number 3 is coming up. We're going to pick our NFL parlay segment. That's next. All righty. It is time for us to make our picks. And we've got our NFL slate that we want to go over with Steve Calabro, of course, the casino manager here at Hialeah Park. And, of course, come on out to Hialeah Park, man. They have got the National Horse Players Championship going on. The qualifier comes to Hialeah Park Sunday, January 12th. Bill and myself are going to be out here broadcasting live out here, and they're going to award $10,000, man. How cool is that? $5,000 to first place, $2,500 to second, $1,500 in third, $1,000 to fourth, and then the grand prize winner will win an NHC seat in Las Vegas for the finals. February 7th through the 9th at Bally's. So that's going to, and the winner, it includes hotel, airfare, and you may choose to go to the 2020 or 2021 NHC seat. How about that? That is actually really, really cool. So come on out here, and here at Champions Simulcast Center, that's where we're going to be on the 12th. And Bill and I are going to be broadcasting out here. So if you come on out here to compete for the National Horse Players Championship, come on out, hang out with us. We'll have some fun that day. I'm sure Steve is looking forward to it. So every week, Steve, Bill, and myself, we pick the odds in the NFL, and we settle in on our own parlay, okay? And so we give you a 3-team parlay, and we all make one pick. And that's part of the parlay. Each one of us get we pick one team in the 3-team parlay. So far we have not hit.
We got Steve with us now, sir.
We haven't hit on these parlays in the first 2 weeks. Let's see if we can do it this week. Steve, are you there, my brother?
Big O, I'm here. But Big O, I have some good news.
Okay.
I have some good news.
Okay.
So last week's parlay, you're right, we didn't hit, 3 out of 3 games.
Right.
But Billy's pick was a push. So it automatically reverts to a 2-game parlay, and we picked up a win there. So we bet 45. Instead of winning 270, we won 117.
Okay, good.
So we actually won money.
And Billy wins nothing.
Well, I mean, we're a team. We're a team. I remember that. We're a team.
Wait. He's got us losing the first week. Then he draws the second week. Is he ever going to pick a damn winner?
Hey, that ain't my fault. Houston had 5 interceptions, and one of them were returned for. Well, 2 of them were returned for a touchdown. One of them got called back because of penalties. I'm sitting there, and when that happened, I'm like, "You guys are going to screw me and make me look bad again, aren't you?"
So let me
Let
me ask you, Bill. Are you bad luck schleprock on your time off?
No, man.
When I was watching the Flintstones, are you the guy? Oh,
no,
wowsy,
bro.
wowsy,
No.
woo, woo.
Usually I do really well. The money I had in that one freaking bet site, I had for like 2.5, 3 years I played on.
I think he's bad luck schleprock. All right, we're gonna see if he can pick a winner final. You know what we're gonna do? You know what, Steve? Let's make it easy. Let's have Bill pick the first game. Maybe that helps.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
This way, he gets first choice. He gets first choice. Hey, Big O, I want to update you on one more thing.
Let's help Bill out because obviously, he's he's falling a little short here, so we got to help him out a little bit here.
The teammates are helping him out. Let me just update you on one more thing.
Yes.
So we also bet the over, which we didn't win on the Kansas City-Chicago game. Looked like Chicago didn't show up, and Kansas City decided to just score like a lower amount of points for their normal game, but we did okay. We were ahead. We came out ahead this week, and so we did okay. And we didn't go into the negative.
All right.
But I think your idea about Billy going first is a good idea.
I like it. Let's give Bill a shot here.
Let me see the sheet.
Let's start off with the first one, which is Cleveland at Cincinnati. And right now, the Cincinnati Bengals are getting 2.5 points. The Browns are favored by 2.5. The over and under is 45.5. There is no way in the world I would touch this game in any way, shape, or form. So let me just cut it off quickly. How about you, Steve? You touching this?
Yeah, I said we go right to the next one. That's just too tough of a game.
Bill, is this going to be your pick?
Thank you, but no thank you.
No, okay. All right, Bears at Vikings. Bears are favored by 3 on the road in Minnesota. The over and under is 36 points in this one. Bill, are you touching it? First, let's go to Bill. Let's go first to Bill.
No, I'm not messing around with my teams. Okay. Neither Dolphin or Bear. I'm not getting involved.
It's hard for me to trust this game right now between both of these teams.
Minnesota has nothing to play for. They're lauded.
Right. Yeah, no, not only that, it's just you can't trust Kirk Cousins either. The 36 points is the only thing that's kind of intriguing, that maybe because some people will be sitting, there'll be some loosey-goosey defense and they'll go over 36, but I'm not touching this. How about you, Steve? You like this game at all?
I think it's a trap game. I think it's a complete trap bet. It's +3 for Minnesota. It's bad. it's a bad situation. I think the 36, you're basically banking on the second string to score points. I'd say no.
Right. All right, Colts at Jags, but the second strings make mistakes and turnovers and all that, and that leads to points. So that's why I think that might go over 36, but I'm still not touching it. Indy is at Jacksonville, and the Colts are favored by 3.5. The over and under is 42.5. Bill, how are you looking at this game, my man?
You know what? This is another one of those games when you have two teams that have nothing to play for. You don't know what you're going to get.
All right.
Even the lineup. You don't know what lineup you're going to get. So how can you bet on it?
The great Steve Calabro, are you touching it?
No, I love Gardner Minshew, but no, not today. Not today.
All right.
Only because he has a mustache. All
right. The Falcons have turned things around. They are playing good football. They're now going to bring back their coach and their GM. They're at Tampa Bay. The Bucs are favored by 1 at home. The over and under is 47.5 in this game. What do you think, Bill? Do you like this game?
No.
No?
Again, no.
Steve, do you like this game?
You know, it's interesting. I got to tell you, for some reason, I don't know why. This has called me crazy, but I think the over, as high as it is,
damn it,
I think they're going to score a lot of points.
Damn it, you took it away from me. That's what I love in this game. I love the over. Jameis Winston will throw 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions that will lead to 4 other touchdowns. Plus, Matt Ryan will throw another 2 or 3 touchdowns. For sure, they're going over 47.5. If you don't take it, I like that one so far at over 47.5. What do you think? Steve, is that your pick there? Over 47.5?
Well, no, let's go through it.
Okay.
Let's go through them because I might have a little bit. I'm not totally married to that pick yet, but I like it.
All right. So
it's in my top 3.
Let me write that down just to make sure it's there. All right, here we go. Washington is at Dallas. The Cowboys are favored by 10.5. The over and under is 45.5. Bill, are you touching this game?
No, sir.
Don't trust those Cowboys?
Well, it's
how can you not trust those Cowboys?
It's interdivisional, and that's
They're
the thing.
Clutch.
They could lose outright to Washington.
Yeah, they could.
Because it's an interdivisional game.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and Washington has
They got a good exactly. They got a good defense.
But you're not touching it.
No, sir.
Calabro, where you going?
I'll tell you, there's no way I could root for Dallas. I just can't root for Dallas in this one. And I kind of agree with Bill. I think Washington could win, but it is in Dallas, so I think Dallas gets the advantage. I just don't think they're going to cover 10.5 points.
All right, nobody's
Let me just
it.
state, I would love to see Washington beat them and burn that thing to the ground, totally destroy the 2019 season.
Be great. Saints are at the Panthers, and the Saints are favored by 13 points at Carolina. The over and under is 46 in this game. Where are you guys standing? Bill first. Saints minus 13, over and under 46.
No. If I was going to bet anything, I'd bet the over.
I worry even about the over because they'll take this lead comfortably, and the defense will control Carolina, and they could stay under 46, and then Drew Brees will go rest, and then Teddy will come out and just hand the ball off all day long for the second half. So I worry about.
So you think if they get up by 14, 17 points,
it's over?
Sit on it.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, Fonzie, they could. What's it called? Calabro, what you doing in this game? Saints and Panthers. You like this at all?
Well, so it's a tricky game for me because New Orleans is playing for home field advantage throughout the playoffs. If they win this, they get NFC home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So there's a little more riding on this game than sort of meets the eye, so to speak. I think Carolina, what they're saying is they're just going to let the running back just run every play. It's just a run every play. So I don't think – I happen to think that New Orleans might cover the 13. It's just real tough to give 13 points to a home team. That's just a tough thing. But it's in my maybe pick. Okay. And when we go through the whole list, it's a maybe.
All right. Philly is at the Giants.
What do you say? What do you say about that game?
I'm not touching that game. Saints in Carolina, I'm not. There's too much unknown there. I just don't like it. A lot of wacky crap can go on in that game because I think the Saints, they can go up by 14 and then just sit on it and
it's another interdivisional game, man.
Yeah,
interdivisional games are
but Panthers offense is really bad, dude. They're not going to score on that defense that much. They just aren't.
It's all McCaffrey.
Yeah. It's just no. And how about why would you play McCaffrey?
Oh, I totally agree.
Why would you play McCaffrey? That I don't understand. I would not play him in this game. There's no need. Why am I going to play my best weapon?
You know what they're saying right now?
What?
What the Panthers are saying right now, that we're playing McCaffrey any way we can this week. Any way we can. I think they're nuts, but that's what they're saying.
Doesn't make sense.
What they say and what they do might be two different things, too.
Eagles are at the G-Men, and the Eagles are favored by 4. The over and under is 45. Before I go to the homer, what do you think, Bill?
If I had the bet, I would bet Eagles, just because every time they've needed a win, they've gotten it and done it and covered the spread.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not looking at this like really hard. You know, it's there. It's there.
All right. How about you, Homer? You going with the Eagles?
Oh, this is the tough one. So I just want to give you some backdrop here. I spent some time in New Jersey. I am literally equidistant between Philly's Link Stadium, where the Eagles play, and the Giant Stadium. I am literally equidistant. So consequently, when I go to the local bar, I got half Giant fans, I got half Eagle fans. My son, he's a big Eagle fan. All my boys, Dominic Mariano and the whole gang, they're all Eagle fans. And then I got a whole other crew of guys that are Giant fans. So I'm like torn between this one. I don't even know who to root for. No, that's one question. Not sure who to root for. I just think the Eagles are going to win this game. I really do. I think they're going to play well, and I think that Daniel Jones is going to throw interceptions and give the game to the Eagles. That's what I think is going to happen.
All right, I'm not.
So it's in my top to pick.
I would think with the mutual hatred for Dallas, that the Giant and Philly fans would want Philly to win just to keep Dallas out of the playoffs, right?
Exactly.
Collaborate together and say, keep Dallas at bay.
Yeah, Giant fans are just thinking of draft picks at this point. All right, Steelers are at the Ravens, and the Steelers are favored by 2. The over and under is 37. And remember, the Ravens are playing RG3, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are also playing a bad quarterback. What do you guys think here first? Bill, what are you doing in this game with all the backups in there?
Well, because Baltimore's not playing for anything, they really don't care.
No, they're not playing a bunch of people. They're rusting a bunch of guys.
Well, rightfully so. They should.
Right.
They got the one locked.
Yep.
So this is one of those games you can't touch because you don't know who's going to be on the field.
All right. Calabro, you touching this game?
Not even close. It's, like Billy said, Baltimore's already clinched home field advantage. Forget it. You just got to move on. This is just a crazy game.
Jets are at the
junkie.
Bills. Crazy Eyes is visiting the Bills, and Crazy Eyes is a dog. The Bills are favored at home by 1.5. The over and under is 36.5. This is a divisional game. What do you think, Bill?
No. It's because Buffalo can't pass the Patriots, so no.
And anybody can win that game.
With Buffalo, really, let's be honest, they don't care. They're thinking about the following week. They got a game to play, a real game.
Yeah, I don't think this game does anything for Buffalo
at all.
Calabro, what are you doing with this game with the Jets and Bills?
I had a different opinion. I got an update too. Remember last week we talked about how they have the Fire Adam Gase billboards.
Yes.
I'm up in the Northeast right now, and I've run into almost 2,000 Jet fans. That's where they live up here. I got to tell you, every single one of them wants Gase fired. Not one out of over 20, 25 guys I've talked to that are Jet fans, they want him fired. I think the Jets. I'm rooting for Buffalo. I think Buffalo can win at home. I think the point spread of 1.5 isn't that bad. I think they can cover that easily. I think the kid's gonna throw a couple touchdowns. The Buffalo quarterback. I like Buffalo and I like the over. As crazy as it is, I know it's insane, but I think Darnell's gonna throw a couple touchdowns. Buffalo's going to score a lot of points, and I think Buffalo's going to win and beat the over.
All right. I am definitely not touching that game. I don't trust either one. It could go either way there. Dolphins are at the Patriots. Patriots are favored by 16. The over and under is 44.5. Bill, what are you doing with this game?
I can't touch this game because, number one, my team's involved. But if I was, maybe take the 16. That's a lot of points. Plus, well, you know what? No, the Patriots need this game. Man, this is no. You know what? This is not. Do not mess with this game.
Calabro?
So listen, I think this is a huge game for the Patriots. They get home field advantage. They get the bye. So that's and believe me, New England needs the bye. Like I'm with Billy. I can't pick this game because I think New England could run away. A 20-point plus victory over the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to be completely outmanned. It is a lot of points, but I think the Patriots are going to. This is a very important game to the Patriots, and they're going to make it happen. They're not going to slow down, and so I'm not touching it. It's too hard.
All right, you got it. Neither am I. Packers are at the Lions. The Packers are favored by 12.5, gentlemen. The over and under is 43.5. What do you think about David Blau and company against the Packers, Mr. Preston?
Yeah, do not touch this game.
No?
Interdivisional crap, and Green Bay, Detroit's been horrible. Detroit probably wants to lose this game.
They don't have to try.
But I mean, they want to make sure they lose it.
Yeah, but even if they were trying to win, they weren't going to win, so they were going to lose anyway. The Packers should rout them. Calabro, what do you think about this game? I'm not a fan of it.
Packers are all over it. I don't like this game at all. The Packers are playing for a home field advantage too, but
yep.
I don't like it. I think Packers will run away with it, but I don't like rooting for the Packers, so I'm not touching it.
All right, Titans are at the Texans. And the Titans are favored by 3.5 on the road in Houston. The over and under is 45. Bill, are you touching this?
If I was going to do it, I'd probably take the home team with the 3.5.
Okay, there's no probably. Are you doing it or not?
No.
Okay.
No, but still no.
Okay.
I'm just saying if I was, I would take Houston 3.5, but no.
Calabro?
I'm not touching it because these are two teams that you don't know who's showing up. Tennessee, if they win, they get into the playoffs. It's a way for them, though. I don't like it. It's too close. Too close to call.
I freaking love it. Ryan Tannehill never steps up. I made money on Ryan Tannehill the last time. I'll do it again. He didn't show up 2 weeks ago, I told you, against Houston. He's not showing up against Houston again. Houston will win this game because they've got the clutch quarterback and Tennessee doesn't. And you're going to give me points like yesterday? Like I told everybody, bet LaTeX? The Canes were favored? Are you kidding me? Right here, the Titans are favored on the road. I'm going Texans.
Wow.
Yep. That's definitely my pick. All right, next one. Chargers are at the Chiefs. And the Chargers are favored by 9 points. I'm sorry, the Chiefs are favored by 9 points. The over and under is 45.5. What do you think about this, Bill? Chargers and Chiefs.
Well, Kansas City is playing for something. And the Chargers have just absolutely looked dismal. I would go with Kansas City, lay the 9.
You're laying the 9? Okay. Is that like right now your pick? Is that so far your favorite one? Chiefs -9 for right now? Okay, so what do you think, Calabro? You like this game?
I'll tell you why I don't like it. Because Kansas City, to get a first round bye, they have to win, and New England has to lose. And I don't think New England's going to lose, and I think Andy Reid knows that. I'm staying off it. It's too crazy.
Okay.
There's too much that has to happen.
This game is at 4 o'clock, ain't it?
Yes.
Yeah, see, they'll know. The Dolphins are at 1.
Yeah, they'll know. I guess they'll know, but that means you got to make the bet at 5 or 4, or 3/4.
Yeah, see that. But, you know what? Because of that factor, you're absolutely right, Steve. They'll know what they're got to do, and if they don't have to play, why throw your guys out there? They won't play.
Arizona is at the Rams, And the Rams are favored by 5. The over and under is 48.5. Bill, what do you think about Cards and Rams?
That one not to touch. The
Yeah.
Cardinals just beat Seattle. They did.
And you can't trust the Rams.
No, not at all.
I actually think
They could be the team that won 3 games in a row or got smoked by Dallas.
I think the Cards actually are the better bet here. I think they're playing more inspired football right now. The Rams, their season is done. I think guys have made their vacation plans, and they're favored by 5.
You don't think they busted their nut last week in Seattle?
I really no Arizona, but Arizona's been like that all year. They've been everybody. They've been a pain in the ass.
Yeah, they
not that they're
play
winning
tough,
a ton,
right?
But you have to earn your win against Arizona.
Yes, you have to play 60 minutes.
I would not be surprised if they beat the Rams in this game. Actually, I would take the. It's not my pick, but taking the 5 and taking the Cardinals, I don't think is a bad play on the road. Calabro, what do you think about this one?
I don't like the game, and I'll tell you why. Because I agree with everything you're saying, Big O. And a lot of experts are saying the Rams are going to blow away the Cardinals because they did that earlier in the season. So
Different
I
time.
don't like it. I don't like it. It's 50-50, too close.
The Raiders are at Denver, and the Broncos are favored by 3.5. The over and under is 41. Bill, are you going with Drew and the boys in Denver?
No, I'm not touching this game.
Okay. Calabro, what do you think about the Raiders and the Broncos?
The Raiders, they don't have John Jacobs again, so that's a tough thing. I don't like the game. It's just it doesn't mean anything, and it's kind of two banged up teams. I'm off this game.
San Francisco is at Seattle, and the Niners are favored by 3.5. The over and under is 47. Bill, are you betting on this one?
I would take San Francisco just because of Seattle's lack of running backs.
Are you taking it over Chiefs -9?
Well, I'm off the Chiefs because they'll know what's up.
Okay, so
at 1 o'clock. That would be a dumb bet unless you're betting it right before the game.
So are we done? Is this your pick? San Fran -3.5? Is that where you're going?
Yeah, I would take that. San Fran's healthy.
All right. So Bill is picking San Fran -3.5. I've got Houston +3.5. And Steve, what is your pick to complete our parlay?
I'm going with the over. Matt Ryan and Jameson Winston are going to throw interceptions and touchdowns all over the place. Tampa Stadium's going to be rocking.
Okay, that's 47.5, and we are going with the over in that one. So we've got San Fran -3.5, Houston +3.5, and Falcons and Bucks over 47.5. That is the parlay right there, my man. How about that? I like it.
I love it.
Love it. It's a beautiful thing. All right, Steve. What are you doing this weekend up there, man? You're gonna go to anything?
I'm hanging out with a bunch of Giants fans and a bunch of Eagle fans. They're killing each other in the bars. There's some sprinkle of Jet fans, but they're just pissed off at the whole situation, so they really don't get involved with the. They're just so frustrated. So that's what I'm doing up here, and I'll be back early next week, actually Sunday night, and we'll be back next week and see what we did. Hopefully, we can get into the overall positive. We're close. We're real close. Remember, we won our last week. We picked up a 2-game parlay, and we just Kansas City let us down. I guess Chicago let us down. They didn't score any points, so 3 points.
Yeah,
but I'm just having some fun with the Northeast fans, the Eagles and Giants and Jets fans.
That is
Trubisky, for his next astounding trick, puts up a donut instead of 3.
Yeah. Gotta love it. All right, be safe in your travels, my brother, and we will catch you here next week. And then in a couple weeks, by the way, we'll be out here for the Horse Players Championship. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We were just talking about that before we brought you on, the Horse Players Championship on January 12th, the qualifier coming to Hialeah Park. So we'll be out here broadcasting on that Sunday before we head out to St. Pete for the East-West Shrine game. So we're going right from here to St. Pete right after that broadcast. So we're looking forward to it.
And don't And don't got to remind your listeners that this New Year's Eve we're having a big party here at the casino.
Right.
It's going to be a great weekend. It's going to come on out. We have live music in the lobby on December 31st. We've got obviously booze and hats and horns and gambling. It's going to be a fun night in the casino, and it's going to be a real good week too. From January, this whole week is fun, and January 1st. Not January 1st, December 31st, and January 1st kind of caps it off.
You know what? I think I'll bring the old lady over here and we'll have some fun with the wife and the old lady here for the first. I think we'll do that.
I'll be there, Big O.
She loves the machines, dude. So I could just leave her in the machines, right? And then I could just go upstairs, hang out in the poker room, and just play some poker, and that's it. So
I'll be there. I'll be there.
All right, you got it,
and
baby.
We'll ring in the new year together.
You got it.
All right, guys.
All right, Steve.
Safe travels, Steve.
Take it easy, baby. There you go.
All right, Big O. Take care, Bill.
You got it. There you go. The great Steve Calabro, man. Good stuff there. So our parlay is the over Tampa Bay, Atlanta, 47.5. Houston plus 3.5. And San Francisco minus 3.5. I like this. I think we're going to win this time. I think we got it, and I think we got the system. Let you pick the first one.
Hey, man, you know something? Last week, that Houston game, man, should have. They had 2 pick sixes. One of them got called back because of a penalty. They had 3 other interceptions, and I only had 14 points to show for it. I'm like sitting there literally going, man, Houston just wants to make me look bad. That's all it is. And they did.
And one more thing, the basketball picks for today, we went with Sixers minus 3.5, the over 208.5 with 76ers Magic, Bucks minus 8 against the Hawks, the over at 211.5 for the Pacers, and the Warriors 224 over also there. So that is our selections in the NBA. So, would you allow somebody, if you're a man, would you allow a woman to propose? Would you do that? Would you allow a woman to ask you to marry her?
No, I mean, look, if any of those girls would have not been bipolar that I spent 3 years, 5 years, and 3.5 years with, I probably would have done it. And, situation such, no, you want to do traditional. Okay. Head her off at the path,
So
PK, step up.
PK Subban is, right?
Yes, I saw in
Devils defenseman Lindsey Vonn proposed to him. Now, does it make it? Is it any different that it's Lindsey Vonn proposing to you?
But I heard supposedly that he had already proposed to her. She just wanted to get him an engagement ring as well. Is what it was.
Okay.
That's what I was told the premise of it was. They were already engaged. She just wanted to give him an engagement ring. Okay, the thing that was more cute than that was the matching PJs in front of the Christmas tree, which, I'm sorry, at no point am I going to wear matching clothes with my girlfriend, my wife, my significant other.
So
it's not
Lindsey Vonn can't get you to wear matching PJs.
Well, see, that's
what I'm talking about here. So I'm just not talking about a regular woman here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, then you know what? Then
it's like a Holly Berry asking you to marry her, and you're like, what are you going to do?
Then you know what I say?
You're going to say, no,
hey, that's okay.
I've got to ask you to marry.
Hold on. We can do this, but we're not going to have any pictures and stuff like this posted all over the world for people to know what we've done. This is behind closed doors.
Lindsey Vonn proposing. Not bad.
How do you feel about it?
If it's Lindsey Vonn, it's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. I think if Lindsey Vonn wants to do it, I'm doing it too. That's all I'm saying. So, and I think PK Subban said the same thing. It's Lindsey Vonn. So, yeah, I'm dating Lindsey Vonn.
So he jumped right into that PJ outfit and jumped in front of the tree.
Wouldn't you? I mean, have you seen Lindsey Vonn?
Yeah, no, I have. And she's smoking hot, of course. I mean,
smoking hot and a half.
Yeah, well,
Lindsey Vonn. How do you turn that down? There's no way. There's no way that you would even insult Lindsey Vonn by saying, no, you can't propose to me. I'm the man.
I'm okay with the proposing. Proposing is one thing. Getting me to wear PJs in front of the matching.
But it's Lindsey Vonn. It's like Jennifer Aniston. She probably could make me wear anything. It is what it is. What am I going to do? Smoking hot.
When you put it that way,
right?
You make it difficult, man.
Because that's the
thing. You're not talking about any ordinary chick. You're talking about
Now, remember, if you have this
package.
Remember, guys, if you have this conversation with your significant other, you may want to say, "No, I do it for you too, honey." You know what I mean? Because if you just say, "No, well, it's Lindsey Vonn," and well, wait a minute, and then your girl is going to say, "Well, wait a minute, but if I propose to you, I'm not Lindsey Vonn, so what? You got to go traditional with me?" That kind of stuff. So,
shortly thereafter, her lawyer's calling your lawyer.
Yeah, so be careful now, okay? So be careful when you're having this discussion around your significant other, okay?
I would suggest not having it at all.
Yeah, you're probably better off just staying away from the subject. Because you don't really want to mention, no. I got to propose to you.
Don't mention
Lindsey Vonn, she can propose to me.
Don't mention matching outfits because usually that's a great idea.
Yeah.
No,
it's definitely not a good idea. But then again, when it's Lindsey Vonn,
you jump right into that PJ outfit and in front of the tree with a big smile on your face.
You can get away with certain things, man. With Lindsey Vonn.
So basically, you have an excuse.
Yes.
You have an out. Okay.
Yes.
As long as you got a valid excuse, so it kind of validates everything.
Right. And Lindsey Vonn validates absolutely everything.
Well,
that's the beauty of
it.
You know what I'm saying? 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. Anytime you're listening on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, it is there for you. So reach out to Nunez Law. But, of course, you can reach out to us anytime at 786-322-1105. Heat are back on with the Pacers tonight. 8 o'clock tip at the AAA. Right when I go on Mad Dog is right when the game will start. So it'll end before I get off the air because it'll probably end right around 10:30, 10:45, something like that. And then we'll be off at 11. Panthers are off tonight. Saturday, they will take on the Red Wings. What else do we have here? Dan Quinn and Dimitrov are being brought back for 2020. Raheem Morris named defensive coordinator. Dan Enos was fired finally after the AP reported it yesterday before the game. So weird. So weird that went on. Seriously. And if you missed it, we had an excellent interview with Aaron Fentress, who covers, Herbert. And we talked about Justin Herbert, the quarterback out of Oregon, since he covers him on an everyday basis, and get his thoughts on it. You definitely want to catch that interview there. All our comments are there already with the Miami Hurricanes, which it wasn't good, unfortunately, folks. But it is what it is. We got to thank all the great people out here at Hialeah Park for taking care of us. Frank Fiore, Steve Calabro, the Brunetti family, of course, first and foremost, for opening the doors for us and being a sponsor of ours for so many years now. Can't say enough about the Brunetti family, all the great people out here at Hialeah Park, making it nice and easy for us to do it every week. Remember, we're going to be here next week and the following week out here at Champions Simulcast Center. So please come on out here and join us for the next couple of weeks. And also, we'll be back at the Poker Room after that. So plenty of things. We thank John Cassio and, of course, Bill, as always, working his ass off, getting it done. Most of all, we thank our sponsors for making it happen, and we thank you out there because you guys are downloading our show in record numbers every single month. We are going up 20-30% in downloads. It is just absolutely crazy. We are in a record month again, and we thank you for it immensely. We will see you on Monday, but we'll be chiming in on Saturday and Sunday. Listen, we got to stay red hot in basketball, so we'll have more picks for you over the weekend. Be good out there.
Y'all have a good weekend.